Hi, I'm Julia Raymond and I'm part of the FAU Pine Junk Fellowship, where the goal is to create an environmentally sustainable project to better the community. Throughout the summer session, I became increasingly aware of the lack of biodiversity within Palm Beach County, specifically when our group traveled to Winding Waters. It was here that I learned of the decreasing population of Pomacea pomadusa, or the native Florida apple snails. The Florida apple snail is an integral part of our ecosystem and is the primary food source for many animals, such as the critically endangered snail kite. However, in recent years, an invasive snail was released into the ecosystem, pushing out Florida snails and slowly causing the snail kite population to dwindle. After throwing around a few ideas, I decided that my project would address the issue of biodiversity, specifically the lack of native Florida apple snails, by creating a snail breeding program at Oxford Academy called Sustainable Snails. Through this program, I wanted to raise snails to the point of sexual maturity and then release them into natural areas which are void of any snails, so that local nests of snail kites could have a new food source. Right away, I was able to get a 40-gallon fish tank and filters donated to my project, and after consulting with one of my teachers, she was more than happy to let me set up the tank in her classroom. So I had the tank and the space, but I was still missing one crucial piece of my project, the snails. No matter where I looked, I couldn't find any native snails, only the invasives. I offered my peers free proofreading if they brought me native snails, and while many students brought me snails, they were the invasives. I decided to reach out to Winding Waters, and after conversing with Steve Pisano, he introduced me to the coolest lady I've ever met, Mindy Saltzman. Commonly referred to as the Snail Lady of Palm Beach County, Mindy has been raising and releasing native snails as a hobby for the past 27 years, and after a single email, we quickly began an incredibly nerdy friendship centered around a passion for snails. We decided to meet up at Winding Waters, where she had released the original snail population to look for snail eggs. Throughout our walk, Mindy told me everything I would ever need to know about raising these little guys, and at the end, we found one egg cluster that was in danger of being crushed if not removed from its cattail. Together, we carefully placed this egg cluster in my car and parted ways. Within 1 week, the snails had hatched, and I found myself to be a teen mom. I moved the snails into the tank at school. That way, kids could get hands-on experience with a conservation project and grow interest in sustainable snails. To raise money for the lettuce to feed the snails, I let students honorarily adopt a snail, and soon I had a gaggle of other proud teen parents.
Because I want to adopt it.
Right.
I hope you accept this donation.
I accept this donation.
However, what I didn't expect was for teachers to start using the snails as an example of biodiversity, mutual adaptation, and our own local ecology.
Every day kids came in to watch them grow, created a lot of curiosity. It's a wonderful way to introduce these topics into the classroom. So, we talked a lot about invasives, biodiversity, water health, and all sorts of subjects because of this project. It was great.
The science department decided to adopt this project, and the Environmental Science Club is taking on sustainable snails as part of their club legacy. However, like all moms, we soon had to say goodbye to the snails. After 2 months, I released the snails into Arthur R. Marshall, where students in the environmental science class regularly take field trips, with the hope that the snails will soon begin to populate the area and help educate students on how even seemingly small animals play a huge impact in the environment. Overall, my project was a huge success, and I was able to raise 42 snails to adulthood. I kept 10 snails for future breeding, and I released the other 32. Given that each female snail can lay 100 eggs in an egg cluster, the snails I kept for breeding can produce 500 baby snails in the first generation, while the ones I released into the wild can produce around 1,600 in the first generation. After their release, I gave multiple presentations to classes around the school, and already, more students are ready to adopt the babies that the 10 snails will have. None of this would have been possible without the help of all the community partners, who not only gave me their time, but their knowledge to work towards a project that benefited the community.
We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation.